Excellent. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Epstein, and I'm what's called a grateful Pro 8 with a company called Life Vantage. And I just want to thank you for taking the time and coming on board with what we're going to be sharing some incredible information with my dear friend, Sam Flake, and myself. So again, thanks. I'll let you take care of that over there. But thanks again for taking the time. We want to be brief. We're going to only be about 30 minutes. We're going to share some information from our hearts, not much from our heads. There's some people coming in there, Sam. And I want to introduce, I'm going to introduce my friend Sam, and then he's going to share a little bit, and then we're going to just kind of go back and forth and tell you why we're here. So my buddy Sam, I met 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago at an event. He is a faithful man and married to his beautiful wife for just a couple months, or a month shorter than us. My wife and I, we've been married coming up on 21 years, and the same for Sam. He has 4 children. He has a daughter that's 16, and he has a 12-year-old, 8-year-old, and 5-year-old boy. He was a rancher and a farmer living in a place called, so Sam Flake is from Snowflake, and he's a cowboy just like me. Just kidding. My cowboy hat and my long hair as well. And
you saw a horse once, didn't you, Michael?
I even petted a horse, believe it or not. But I couldn't reach the top of the horse because he's 6'3" and I'm just under 5'7". So, but
well under it.
He's been most of his life a farmer and a rancher. And then he became a construction worker and put himself through school and became a 6th grade teacher. And he was a teacher for just a few years. His wife, Vandy, worked with the telecommunications with cellular telephones. And after a couple of years, they decided to quit what they were doing because of what they are doing now. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my dear friend, and I call him my brother from another mother, Mr. Sam Flake. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Michael. It's a pleasure doing this with you. We're not even on the same team, but we met years ago and we just become good friends. And he has a heart bigger than the universe, and just love that man. I'll tell you a little bit more about him in a minute, but I also want to welcome everybody. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes. We sometimes do these an hour, but we wanted to just do this real brief, 30 minutes. We know time is precious. And I love that we can do this while everyone's eating or getting ready or shuffling kids or whatever. I got 4 kids myself, and that's been a great thing about this business. It's allowed me to be a dad first. And somebody once said, successful people work a few years like most people won't, so they can live the rest of their life like most people can't. And that's basically what Michael and I both have done. We saw an opportunity bigger than anything we'd ever seen before. We knew how to work hard, and we decided to go for it. It's not get rich quick. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a vehicle. A lot of times people know how to work hard, but they don't have the right vehicle. And if you have the right vehicle, you can really do some good things. So Michael introduced me a little bit. I'll just tell you a little bit more about my story, a little about the company, some of the products. I'm going to introduce Michael and let him say a few things. And like we talked before, Michael, if you want to interject at some point, feel free to do that. I see people from Texas to Oklahoma to Hawaii to Michigan, California, Utah. I'm probably Idaho. I'm probably missing some people, but super excited to have you guys all on here tonight. So I grew up in a small town, Northeast Arizona. It's farm and ranch, 7th of 10 kids, did construction, school teacher, never done anything like this before. I'd been praying for years to get more time freedom, more financial freedom. I don't know about you, but most of our early married life, it was paycheck to paycheck and just trying to make enough to, just to get to the end of the month. I mean, if there's usually more month at the end of the money than money at the end of the month, if you know what I mean. And when we started this, an extra $300 would have changed our life. And I wasn't good at talking to people. I'm pretty shy, reserved, laid back kind of a guy. A lot of people know we've succeeded at this are blown away that we've had success. If there's a room full of people, I mean, now I got where I love talking. I love getting to know people. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have skills. It's taught me a ton of skills in that as well, because I took it seriously, treated it like a business, not just a hobby like a lot of people do. And what impressed me the most is a friend introduced this to us. We were skeptical, probably like a lot of you might be skeptical tonight, but a healthy skepticism is good. You don't want to take your time and energy and investment into something that's not going to be worthwhile for you. But we looked at this, we took a look, we saw a presentation similar to this, and we learned that the company was publicly traded on the NASDAQ. Learned that it had some bit of a track record. I've been doing this 11 years, so obviously it's newer then. They actually were still in debt at that time. They were trying to get off the ground. What had happened is it actually started back in 2003. It was a small biotech company out of the University of Colorado. And Dr. Joe McCord had helped come up with this product that had solved a problem he had been working on for years. He had received the Elliott Crescent Medal, the same medal like Henry Ford and Alexander Graham Bell and Orville Wright received, for major contributions to society. And he had kind of been known as the father of free radical biology. Well, he was looking at different ideas, and a guy came to him with the idea of using herbs to turn our cells back on. Kind of like if our house is on fire, would you rather have a bucket of water, a fire hose, or would you rather have a sprinkler system that was activated, once the smoke came up? And I don't know about you, but the older I got, the more aches and pains, the less energy, the harder it was to sleep. Can anybody relate to any of that? Okay, because that's where most of us get as we age. It's kind of like a piano goes out of tune over the years. Our bodies go out of tune over the years. And all natural product does is it flips switches. It's an activator. It's in the supplement category because we have to call it that, but it's actually an activator. It's a nutrigenomic. And basically all that means is instead of just supplementing the cell, it's actually activating cellular processes and genes so that the body can do what it's meant to do. And it's so much stronger than antioxidants. It actually turns on our body's own antioxidants that neutralize millions of free radicals per second compared to just a few like the ones you take do. And it's not a cure-all. We're all going to die one day. We never try to make this sound too, better than it is or anything like that. But Washington State University called this technology, and Mike will probably go into this in a little bit more of the other products. We won't go into too much of them. We're going to keep this to 30 minutes tonight. But they called this Nerve2 technology, they said, this may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. I'll say that one more time. This may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. And those are big, big words right there. And so what impressed me is a company publicly traded. They used to be at GNC. That impressed me too. I'd never heard of a network marketing company that started out retail and then went into network marketing. We used to be at GNC, High Health, CVS Pharmacies. What happened is in 2005, ABC Primetime came and aired a special on this, and usually the CEO's running out the back door because it's negative dirt on the company. This was positive, caused over 20 universities to begin studying it with their own money. There was a $5 million of orders came in, huge back order. They were not ready for that huge demand. It kind of became like free advertising. By the way, if you have not seen that ABC Primetime piece, I strongly recommend you do it. And the company went, they're only doing, by the time they got manufacturing back up, the demand had come back down because they couldn't supply it when the demand was there. And so they're trying to make it, they're hiring CEOs. The board of directors hired a guy to come and as a consultant, and he looks at everything and said, you might sell the company. There was pharmaceuticals trying to buy the patents. There was he also suggested network marketing, because network marketing done right is one of the most powerful forms of business there is. You go to a good movie, you tell somebody about it. You go to a good restaurant, you tell somebody about it. You're network marketing, you're just not getting paid for it. All network marketing is word of mouth marketing. And when it's done right, when it's done professionally, it's the most amazing business model. Well, being there is a stigma, and the board of directors this impressed me too. They were kind of resistant against the idea. They're like, oh, I don't know about that. And it took him 3 months to convince them. They finally said, okay, give it a shot. So in 2009, they launched a network marketing division, did a side-by-side with GNC till the end of that year. By the end of that year, it had blown the retail out of the water. Word of mouth marketing is always more powerful. 3.5 million the last year of retail. And first year network marketing did 11 million. Next year, 38 million. Anyways, we've now been doing this 11 years. We're over $240 million in 20 plus countries. We also have an international program where you can get it to other countries. But still, what's so awesome about this is now we're debt-free, publicly traded on the NASDAQ. We've been featured on Wall Street, even on their marquee. One day they're featured for Health Week last year in 2020. And, we have not died during COVID when a lot of companies have died. You can work from home. You can do this from anywhere. We actually sold, after we'd been successful with this, we were able to sell our home and travel the United States for 18 months because this creates an economic engine. Usually when you work for somebody else, you trade time for money. As long as you're working, you're getting paid. Once you quit working, you quit getting paid. And this, like I could work part-time. I was able to keep doing this while I was doing my regular job, work part-time. My wife worked part-time until after a few years, we were able to go full-time. We were able to have 2 more kids because of this. We now have 4 kids and we're able to raise our kids. We're with our kids. Maybe I'm with my kids too much sometimes. They love me like crazy. And I'm so grateful for that relationship. It's worth everything to me. Instead of being gone. And
let me
and
ask
now,
let me
go
ask
ahead,
you a
Michael.
question. How does it make you feel to be able to be home with your children on a daily basis?
It's huge. I mean, it's absolutely huge. And, sometimes I take it for granted. My 2 youngest, they don't even know what it's like to have a dad go into a job. Because this has been their whole life. And so and I think it's so cool because I think it's kind of creating a new culture, a new mindset. Because I grew up pretty much with traditional either business or employee kind of a thing. And I had more of an employee mindset. You work the 40 to 50 plan, you work 40 to 50 hours a week for 40 to 50 years of your life to try to retire on 40 to 50% of what was hard to live on in the first place.
Yeah.
And, the 2-week mentality. And there's nothing wrong with that. And some people love that. And that's great, teach their own. But I didn't know there was something like this that could allow me to work really hard for a few years to be able to have a residual check that came in again and again and again and again and again. And it could grow, and there's no limit. There's no salary. When I was a school teacher, there was a salary cap of $43,000 with a master's degree. Yeah. And, when I worked construction, I mean, there was only so much I could do. And this is like unlimited. People making from a few hundred a month to multiple thousands of dollars per month residually. And that was huge to me.
Could you ever work as many hours in construction to equate what you make today?
No, I mean,
you have to work 24 hours a day and probably still wouldn't make that kind of money.
Well, that's what blew me away is, and I'll be honest, guys, I almost quit several times. Like I was not good at talking to people. I messed up. I did horrible things until I got trained more. But I
remember when I first met you, you were like as quiet as a mouse. We couldn't get you to say more than 5 words pretty much.
It took me 3 months to hit the first rank. And now looking at it, it's crazy to think that I thought once, I was like, man, I have hundreds of hours a day being worked, in our business, and I'm getting a percentage of it because network marketing done right is where instead of, a lot of times like in a job, you feel like someone's trying to stab you in the back or somebody's, you're kind of looking over your shoulder. You wonder how long you're going to have it. How secure is it? All that kind of stuff. And I love this because it, people were motivated to help me because the more I succeeded, the more they succeeded. Right. And same with me, the more people on my team succeed, the more we succeed. And Michael, I'm sure you'll hit this little bit. In fact, why don't you talk about this real quick, where We're not even on the same team, but yet we're here helping each other. Why would we do that?
Right. So, first I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. So for those of you who don't know, and Sam hit so many great points, and yes, we're not on the same team. And a lot of people, when you hear that word network marketing, you're like, oh, no. I'm not really into those things.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
real quick, let me do this right. I wanted to introduce him. I know it's time gets away so fast. Michael, guys, he's from California. He's been a martial arts instructor or in martial arts for 50, he might correct me, 50 something years, like a black belt, triple cross, high jump. I don't even know what it's called, but he's been a massage therapist. He's been a lot of things, and he's, he's going to talk about the time for money thing too. I'll let you tell your story more on that, but you were just trading time for money. You didn't make money unless you had a client in front of you.
Yeah.
And tell us how this has changed your life, and a little bit more about what you're going to say earlier as well.
Well, thanks, Sam. And I feel very blessed that we're both on here, because again, we're not on the same team. And in most network marketing companies, two people from different teams don't get together and do this. See, our company, LifeVantage, a publicly traded company, $250 million publicly traded company, a debt-free company, is we're a big family. We all help one another become the best versions of themselves. So I'm a daddy. I have, if you see behind me, I have a almost 2-year-old and 4-year-old child. And I had my first son at 60 years old. I'm 64 years old. And what we do is we have activation that helps our bodies become the best version of ourselves, including what he was talking about. We have 29 published peer-reviewed studies on this little yellow pill that's called an activator. It has 13 patents, 7 of them in the United States, where they can't copy it. So I want to ask you all this question. I'm going to go just touch really briefly about that thing called multi-level marketing or network marketing. If you truly had something that can flip the switch on your cellular health all the way to the DNA of your body, and it was real, and you could become the healthiest version of yourself, would that be a good thing? Let me ask you this. If you knew that it was true, and you were able to share information, and like what Sam said, like sharing your favorite movie or your favorite restaurant that you really align with, and you were able to share this information, and they said, you know what, I would like to try this activation. And months later, they come back to you with tears in their eyes saying, thank you so much for introducing this to me. My father's doing better. My son's doing better. I'm doing better. And whoever that may be, because what we're doing is we're turning on our body's ability to create its own healing system. And I want you to understand this. He was talking about the ABC investigative report. Now, what you need to do is, first of all, I want you to make sure you thank the person that invited you on here. And secondly, watch that ABC investigative report and watch how John Quinones does a blood test, and in 2 weeks, something called oxidative stress is reduced 45% in 2 weeks. And high oxidative stress is the direct link to well over 250 major disease processes. So we don't say we treat, cure, prevent, or mitigate anything. But I hate saying this, but most of my family members are on boxes of medications, or unfortunately, they have passed away. They look at me as the weird one, because I live a different life. I live a healthier life for in a lot of ways. But the thing is this, I'm on no medications because I've been able to activate myself. So let's go back just for a moment. Network marketing. Oh, it's one of those things. I've tried those things before. They really don't work. But listen, we're storytellers. We're sharing information of something that every single person needs to know about. The more you share this information with other people, unlike the restaurants or the movie theaters, because no matter how many people you refer to there, they aren't going to send you a thank you check. Here's all our company does. They say, thank you for referring us. We're going to send a check to you. Now, considering that we're a publicly traded company, there are different levels in the company, and Sam and I are what's called a Pro 8 in the company. And we can't tell you what a Pro 8 makes or what he and I make, but let's say this: the average Pro 8, and I don't want this to scare you and go, oh, no, I could never get there, because anybody can get here. The average Pro 8 makes almost $25,000 a month. Now, when I was doing massage, if I had a body on my table, I was making money. If I had a student in martial arts in front of me, I was making money. But if neither one of those things are happening, I'm not making money. And I want you to just think about this. Think about where we are in the world today. I want you to think about all the people that you know in your life that are struggling health-wise and financially. If you had a gift that you can share with them that may be a solution, how would that be for you? How would that be for you to shift somebody else's life, and in doing so, it shifts yours? I just want to keep it right there, because this is not trying to sell you on anything. We don't need to do that. We're speaking from our hearts, because we're two guys that struggled in our lives and probably were laughed at it here and there when they heard that we were doing this little thing. And now we're called lucky. We're lucky because we stayed steadfast. We put our horse blinders on. See, I know what horse blinders are there, Sam.
Wow, maybe you are a cowboy, Michael.
Yeah. And we stayed focused. We didn't listen to what people told us that we couldn't do. We just did what was the right thing. And in doing so, we've been able to make a comfortable life for our families, because I love being a stay-at-home daddy. I took my son to gymnastics today, and I took my other son to and from school at a Montessori school. So we have an opportunity. That's what we have. So let me just tell you briefly on the categories. He shared the one thing, which has the 29 published peer-reviewed studies. There's two other parts. That product is called Pro Tandem, and we'll give you, I promise the person that invited will give you all the information to have more due diligence and review the research, because the research has been done, and you go to pubmed.gov and some other resources. But the other two parts of Pro Tandem, and we call it the 3 theories of aging. So the one Pro Tandem, which is called NRF2, what it does, and I'm going to be brief, what it does, it reduces this rusting on the inside of the body. Think if you left a bicycle out in your backyard through the entire winter and you went to go ride it in the spring, what would it look like? It would look rusty. That's what happens in our bodies. We rust. The rust creates inflammation. Inflammation can cause different disease processes. So if you have something that's scientifically proven to reduce that rust on an average of 40%, or I should actually say it's now by 40% in 30 days, there's another aspect that's very powerful. Our bodies are built on something, the powerhouse of our cells. It's called the mitochondria. When the mitochondria depletes, we deplete. And so we have another Pro Tandem that's called NRF1 that enhances the mitochondrial function, puts our body in the absolute best state possible. The third part of it, and maybe some of you have heard of intermittent fasting or caloric restriction, where we reduce the amount of calories. And it could sound terrible. And let me tell you, for most people, it is to eat less than 800 calories a day. But when you do that, it causes your body to enhance itself, to remove the bad stored cells that you can't do it even through exercise or diet. So when someone does that, it helps them, but most people can't do that. We have something that enhances a protein called sirtuin and a molecule called NAD, and it makes your body function as if you were doing the intermittent fasting by 100% in 24 hours. So that's the 3 theories. NRF1, increasing the mitochondria function. NRF2, reducing the oxidative stress. And the NAD, helping rev the body and eliminate stored fat cells that you can't get rid of. And those fat cells help the body, they limit the body from doing what it's supposed to do. We have a skincare category, NRF2 activated. Remember, we have the patents on it. And if you look close, 64 years old, where are all my wrinkles? I've been an athlete all my life and I'm a musician as well, but outdoors all the time. And through our activation for our skin, which is our largest organ, we've been able to help eliminate the skin issues on the body. We have a fat reducing product that works with visceral gut fat through a citrus base. We have an energy drink. Now think of how many Red Bulls, Rockstars, 5-hour energy drinks or Monsters do you drink a day? We have something called Axio, quercetin, L-theanine, DMEA, New Zealand pine bark extract, and also the caffeine in one of them, because we also have a decaf. The caffeine comes from an extremely high source of a green tea extract. And I got to work personally with the scientists that developed this in a $50 billion industry. And I can guarantee you there's nothing as good as this stuff. We have a pet product, because most people will spend more money on their pets than they will on themselves. And so the different categories that we have are all extremely healthy for you. We don't just come out with a product. We have a prebiotic, a probiotic, and a postbiotic. And I'll just say this last piece and then we'll wrap up. Think of in the world where we are today with the virus issues. I'll just say it like that. Here's what a lot of people say. Oh, you got to take vitamin C, you got to take vitamin D, and you got to take zinc. So our scientists went to work prior to COVID. It's like God spoke to us. We have something we call daily wellness. It's vitamins and it's the ratios. It's not just the products, it's the ratios. And it's the activation. Vitamin C, vitamin D3, zinc, but also elderberry extract and fermented yeast. We call it 5 to Thrive. You can have the ability to put your immunity in the absolute best state possible, to take the 3 protandems, the 3 theories of aging, the biggest kept secret, flip that switch and drink Axio with the prebiotic and the probiotic. I'll tell you what, guys, I have never, in my 40 plus years in nutrition, I have never seen anything like this, ever. So I want to just turn it back to you and Sam, but we're here to give you information. We're not trying to sell you to get in with us. But what I want you to think about, again, if you had the ability to help others be the healthiest possible and help others that are in a financial crunch, how would that make you feel? That's all I want you to think about, because we have the ticket for that. Sam, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. And guys, I didn't know all this health stuff. I mean, I grew up on a farm and ranch and with a garden and a milk cow, and so was probably eating a lot of organic stuff before I even knew what organic was. But still, like, I wasn't the healthiest guy in the town, I promise you, and not a health guru. And so, like, why would I be in this health company? Why would I be doing network marketing, like, if I'm not a salesperson or anything like that? And that's what I loved about this, is there's systems. We have systems that, like, in the beginning, I didn't know hardly a lot of this enough that I believed in it, but I'd like begin and I would just invite and let somebody else like this present. The people decide what they want to do, buy the products, get in the business, whatever they wanted to do. And for 5 months, I didn't even present. I just invited, and let other people do the talking until I learned. And then I started getting a little team. And it's crazy that from Snowflake, Arizona, I've got an international business in more than 15 countries with thousands of customers and thousands of distributors taking the product. I mean, I can't even believe I'm saying that still. Yeah. And we want to keep this close to 30 minutes as we can, so I'll cut this short. But and then if you agree with this, Michael, we'll stop the recording and then stay on for questions afterwards. If anybody would like to stay, hear some stories, answer some questions, that kind of thing. But it's done right. It's the most amazing business model, because the only way you succeed is by helping other people succeed. And for me, I'm going to end with my why, and I hope you do the same, Michael. Like, why am I doing this now? It's like, I struggled in the beginning, and it's been a roller coaster. I mean, there's no such thing as a free lunch in life. It's network, not net wish marketing, right? But like, even though I struggled, like, I felt so strongly I was supposed to do this. Like, it's been a passion, and I'm still on a mission. My wife and I, we have a goal to help 100, maybe 1,000 families or individuals to be able to get the financial freedom they're looking for, to help people with two of the biggest issues in their life, which is their health and their finances. So close it off, Michael, and give us your final words.
I will. And there's two people that I would really like just to speak for a minute or two, if they would do. One is Kristen Almgren, and two, Corey Dykman. And if you would do that just for a moment, because they are two leaders in our company. And by the way, they're not on our team as well. So let's
Kristen
see.
is.
Oh, Kristen's
on my team.
Then Kristen's on your team. So there you go. That's great. That's right. And she's in beautiful Hawaii. And Kristen, just what would you say? Why? Just 2 minutes. Why LifeVantage for you, and how has it changed your life?
Well, you put me on the spot, Michael.
I did.
I'm packing right now for Cabo, because this company is paying for me to go to an all expense paid for trip. So 2 minutes, this has been one of the best experiences of my life. It wasn't something that I thought I was looking for, but it has created the ability to help others and in turn help myself. Anyone can do this. You can be a stay-at-home mom. You could be a doctor. You could be a landscaper. You could be a massage therapist. All you need is the thought that you are wanting something different or more in life. And like Sam said, there is a system. When you decide to do this as a distributor, as a business builder, you get a team of people that just want to swarm in and help support you, because like Sam said, when you grow, we grow. So it creates a very, very healthy business model. So yeah, that's all.
Thanks
you for putting me on the spot.
I can't wait to give you a hug in Cabo. And there's one thing that I'd like to say, and that is, in most businesses, people want to squash you if you do better than them. And in this business, we reach down to lift you and bring you past us. Where else in life does that happen? So thank you, Kristen. Love you, girl. Corey, I just love you for you to give a couple words of wisdom, man. I love this man, and I have the utmost respect for you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Michael. First of all, I want to say it's really great to see you guys. I haven't seen you guys in what, 2 years, I think. The last time I saw you both in person, I think it was in California.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Boy, yeah, put me on the spot. I joined the company in, it would have been February of 2016. A friend of mine sent me an email with the ABC investigative report that Michael talked about earlier. And the funny thing is, I didn't even watch it for almost 2 weeks. You know how you get your email just gets bogged down, and you start, delete. It was like 11:30 at night one night. I was deleting all these old emails on my Gmail account. And my finger, I almost get emotional when I talk about this, because my finger got this close to deleting that email. And I pulled back and I'm like, oh, wow, Troy sent me that email. Well, let me watch that. It was that ABC primetime report. And I watched it and I'm like, oh my God. I remember seeing that live when it aired on ABC. I live in Kansas City, Kansas, on our local affiliate. My wife and I, Shannon, we watched that. I'm like, how do I get this stuff? This is incredible. And then it just kind of went away. But I remember watching that, and I wanted to call Troy so bad that night, but it was midnight, so I couldn't call him at midnight. So the next morning I called him. I said, dude, I want to get some of this stuff. So I met him at his house in Overland Park, Kansas. And then he said, start talking about the business side of it. And I'm like, there's a business to this too? He goes, yeah. And he showed me the growth curve of the company we're a secret. Nobody knows about this company right now. And so I've never been first in anything in my life. And so to be this blessed to be introduced to this amazing group of people in this organization at such an infancy in its stage of life was a blessing to me. And I'll never, ever, ever have enough words to thank Troy for introducing me to this company. So anyway, I'm not sure exactly what you want me to talk about, Michael, but that's
great,
just a very quick 2-minute story of how I got in the company. And I just love the people, the culture, the products obviously speak for themselves, the science that back them up. It's just a blessing to wake up every morning and ask yourself, who can you go help? So.
Right. Thank you so much. And I just want to end, and we ran and it's so hard to stay quiet because to do it in 30 minutes, but this, you talk about my why. There's my why right there. If you could see that, that's my why. 60 years old, becoming a daddy. I really never thought that would happen for me, but because I don't have to depend on trading time for money. And today I get to gift massage. I get to gift my teachings without the attachment of finances. And I'm going to close with this. How would it be for whatever your passion is, that instead of having to charge for it, you get to gift it? How would it be to truly flip the switch on within yourselves and have the biggest kept secret and share information? See, we're a company of trust and relationships and building community. We're not a sales company. No, that's not what we're doing. You don't see me here. I'm not in a 3-piece suit looking all fancy. When we get on stage, we don't even dress like that. We dress casual because our business isn't casual, but our energy is casual. We're just casual as in loving on one another. So please thank the person that thought of you, of inviting you here. And I'm going to create this recording so this can be sent out. So you say, wow, I would love to send that video to somebody else and see what they think. And we will help you build your dreams. Remember, if you have a dream and you have a massive burning desire to achieve it, and you have a vehicle like LifeVantage to get you there, and the support that our company offers, there's so much, our apps that we use that makes it so simple to share this information as well. Everything is possible. So with that, I want to thank you all for taking the time. I'm going to stop the recording. May God bless you and all of your families, and I'll keep it on if anybody has any questions. So hold on one second.